President Trump is taking a lot of heat tonight after the murder of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi.
Yeah, Mr. Trump says Saudi Arabia will not be punished, and his decision is based on his America First strategy. KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryan has more on the stunning announcement that happened earlier today and, of course, the reaction that followed. Dave?
Yeah, the president was not beating around the bush today. He got right to the point of what he wants to do, and there was plenty of controversy, no question. When push came to shove today, President Trump acknowledged he's not about to tear up hundreds of billions of dollars in business with Saudi Arabia because a Washington Post op-ed writer was murdered and butchered, regardless of the CIA findings that the killing was ordered by the Saudi crown prince. Before he left the White House for a Thanksgiving break in Florida, President Trump delivered a chilling message about the vicious killing of Washington Post columnist Jamal Khashoggi, declaring his complete loyalty to Saudi Arabia's crown prince, despite the fact that the CIA concluded that the crown prince, a close ally of the White House, gave the order to kill Khashoggi. But in a statement, it sounded like the president just blew off the CIA finding. It could very well be that the crown prince had knowledge of this tragic event. Maybe he did, and maybe he didn't. Then, in response to a question from CNN White House correspondent Jim Acosta, the president indicated this is really all about money.
Are you letting the Saudis get away with murder, murdering a journalist?
This is about America First. They're paying us $400 billion plus to purchase and invest in our country. That's probably the biggest amount ever paid to the United States.
Don't you believe the CIA?
They didn't make a determination.
Loyola Marymount University political science professor Michael Genovese is the president of the Global Policy Institute at LMU. He says the president's actions and statements on this are damaging U.S. standing in the world.
Other leaders from Turkey to Moscow to Johannesburg, all over the world, are going to look at this and say, the United States, when push came to shove, caved in. They sold their values, they sold their moral high ground.
Khalil Jashan is the executive director of Arab Center Washington, a nonprofit think tank that focuses on U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East. He says this will damage the U.S., especially in that part of the world.
There you are, basically, a president acting like a yo-yo, and an administration that is undermining its own credibility.
It's a mean, nasty world out there.
But Secretary of State Mike Pompeo stood by the president and the U.S. commitment to Saudi Arabia.
This is a long, historic commitment and one that is absolutely vital to America's national security.
But Professor Genovese says the president is sending a dangerous message to dictators and thugs around the world.
Other brutes and dictators and thugs around the world will look at this and say, we can get away with anything. The United States won't try to stop us, nor will they be able to register moral complaints. They're now complicit in the murder and the butchering of people who are their residents.
Now, several Republicans in Congress didn't appreciate the president's statement today either. Senator Rand Paul, for example, tweeted, "I'm pretty sure this statement is Saudi Arabia first, not America." Tennessee Senator Bob Corker, the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, tweeted that the White House is now moonlighting as a public relations firm for the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia.